Better late than never. Welcome to week 14 in the NFL and welcome back to the Sports Syndicate podcast. I'm joined by a very special host on a very not so special Saturday night, and we're ready to talk all things football with you, our live audience. So let's kick this shit off, shall we?
I'm outshine the same day they signed Tory. The Smith beside me, yes. My wrist is shiny, yes. At all times, catch all signs. Shots fly, no Anakin. Olive Garden, rap towel fit inside a ramekin. Fucking breadcrumbs, turn breadsticks when that text spit. Cause that marinara soak you. Safety off, you in Joku.
And we're back, just like that.
Hell yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Y'all should know us by now, but just in case, I am the man that bleeds Kelly Green, the South Philly Psycho Dom, and I am joined by, I would say a special guest co-host, but I see this motherfucker every week. He is the co-host of Top Rope Wrestling Talk. He is my brother from another mother, even though he's a Patriots fan. He is the high-class one himself, Bruce. What's happening, homie?
What's going on, man? Finally get to be on this damn show. Finally.
I know you've been on the live chat every now and then, but you haven't actually been on the show till right now. I didn't even know I was going to do the show until about right now. So it's good to be back. It's good to see some people rolling in on the live chat. We hope you get your questions and your picks in, and you just have fun with this. But we're gonna jump back, and since Bruce is here, we're gonna reincarnate a lovely segment that I like to call hometown bias, and we're going to start with Monday because Brucey's team, the New England Patriots, had a big game, a big week, I guess. Oh, did that come out? My bad. That was. I don't know where that came from.
That was so wrong. That's okay. This is your show. You're hosting. Okay.
I had to get that out, but now that's out of the way. I'm gonna let Bruce talk for a minute on the Monday night game and the Patriots season overall. Please tell us how you felt after everything was said and done.
So I'm gonna jump into this game. I just want to say Josh McDaniels is an offensive genius, and him and Bill Belichick together are amazing. They literally ran a Pop Warner offense against the supposed number one team in the AFC.
Yeah, like top 5 defense in the NFL.
Listen, I coached football for many of years. When I coached 10-year-olds, that was my offensive play. 3 passes in a game. That was my average. And we ran every other down.
It was the opposite of the Jay Cutler offense. It was get out there and run it. I don't give a shit.
Buffalo fans, coaches, players need to be embarrassed that they got beat by a Pop Warner offense.
Yeah. It's hard for me to fight that one because you knew after maybe a quarter, half, they're running it. They're running it again. You see, you know how many times in that Monday night game I heard the referee announce number 71 is eligible. They got an extra lineman. They're running it, and you still couldn't stop them. You still couldn't stop. Like what the fuck? I would have understood if somehow Mac Jones came in there, had the game of his life, because your Pro Bowl corner went on IR the week before.
Yep.
They threw 3 passes.
3. He was 2 for 3.
They ran 46 times.
You don't do that in the NFL.
Apparently you do, and it works.
That was Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels looking at the Buffalo coaching staff and saying, hey, we're better than you, and we're just going to prove it right now.
And you're about to know it.
And you're about to know it. Listen, a rookie quarterback with a veteran play caller went into Buffalo, and handled them in the snow. Matt Jones on Twitter said, I have never seen snow. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You just played in snow for the first time, young man, and you won.
Yeah. It was painful to watch. It really was. And it has nothing to do with my alleged hatred for the Patriots. It was just painful to watch because it was right there in front of you. You knew what they were going to do. You didn't have to steal anything. There was no Spygate. You knew what they were doing, and you just couldn't stop it. Now, I give the Patriots a lot of credit. Their defense was impeccable.
Yes.
They slowed Josh Allen and that Bills offense down to a crawl.
Yes.
But at the same time, 49 plays, 3 passes. You knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And I do like that Bills team, but I've never been sold on Sean McDermott as head coach. I remember this man on the Eagles staff. He came from our staff. He was a defensive coordinator, and we did not have a very good defense, even though we had some names on that defense. And eventually he went away. He got an opportunity in Carolina, which he then parlayed into this. And every time he ended up someplace, I asked the same question. And the same question was, why?
Now, look,
he's got a job in Carolina. Why? He's getting a head coaching job. Why?
The interesting thing about this particular game in the upcoming weeks is New England plays these guys again in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
because they have their bye this week, and then they go and play. Who is it? I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who they're playing, and then they play Buffalo again, and that's going to decide the division.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Buffalo just completely falls apart now, which wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, their schedule is definitely conducive to falling the fuck apart. I don't want to be rude, but it's just like, the Patriots have the Colts after their bye.
That's who it is,
and then they go back to play the Bills
Yeah.
in Foxborough to end the season. But like, okay, so the Bills dropped this game on Monday night. They come back this week. They got to play Tampa Bay, and they got to play them in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bills, who were probably, you go back 4 or 5 weeks, probably a lock to win this division, are now probably going to have to fight to get into the playoffs.
6 weeks ago, they were a lock to win when the Patriots were sitting at 2-4.
Yeah. And now the Patriots have won 5 or 6 straight, and the Bills have dropped games. Not just this one. I mean, they dropped that weird game to the Jags. They've lost a couple others here or there. And with the AFC East being what it is, you look at the Patriots, yeah, they're on top. Buffalo sitting there at second. But right behind them now is the Dolphins because they've won 5 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think they started the season 1-6. Now they're 6-7. So, if the Bills aren't careful, they might not even make the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
And then all this money that you put into this team and all this talk of how great, Brian Dable is as an offensive coordinator and Josh Allen is and all this stuff. If you don't make the playoffs this year, then what?
You got to need to do some reconsideration in your front office.
Yeah. You got to start looking at those coaches at least. Like, wait a minute.
I mean, you got to do something because they have the talent. They've got it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't deny it. Buffalo has the talent to win this division.
Oh yeah. When you look at the Bills roster from top to bottom, it's pretty stacked. And overall, they're one of the top offenses in the league. They're one of the top defenses in the league, but they're slowly falling apart. And it's going to be at least interesting to see where they go from here because it's not going to be easy for them to, get back into this division, let alone make a playoff run with the guys that are bearing down on you in your own division, let alone in the AFC. The Bills, they have a game against the Panthers, which they might bounce back from before Foxborough, but I don't know. You got to look out for the Dolphins. You got to look out for a lot of those teams that are in the hunt because you're right there with them now. Like
I'm diehard New England. I fell in love with them when freaking Bledsoe got drafted, and I've been from there on. And a little bit before Bledsoe, but I was not. I didn't know what my expectations were on the Patriots this season because Mac Jones was unproven. Okay, the young man's proven himself to me. I wasn't nowhere in my mind could I rationalize being the best team in the AFC and being in first place in the AFC East this year with the Buffalo team that is there. And we had a rookie. We've got again a rookie quarterback, an unproven rookie quarterback. I was thinking, okay, wild card, I can live with that. We're in the playoffs. Max there, he's getting experience. Not the best team in the AFC. I'm friggin' stoked. I'm doing backflips right now.
This is fucking crazy. I mean,
this is amazing.
And I've said it before on this show, but just for Brucey's sake, I'll say it again. I think when you look at what in a short span of time Cam Newton has done in Carolina, I think the Patriots made the right choice.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
I know there were a lot of people, and I was kind of one of them that said, they should have gave Cam Newton a shot. They brought in all these new pieces on offense, but that Carolina offense is pretty good. He doesn't look so good in it. Now, granted, they did fire their offensive coordinator, so you could make a case that like nobody looks good in that offense, but
well, the thing is when there's rumors coming out of training camp that the rookie quarterback is teaching the friggin' over 10-year veteran the playbook, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, he's showing the guy that was in the offense last year how to run the offense.
Yeah,
that's probably a bad look. I'm just saying, Cam, I don't know you personally, but that sounds like a bad look. Mm-hmm. That would be like my son teaching me how to go to the bathroom. That's a bad look.
And there's talks about Mac Jones being the next Tom Brady and stuff like that. Excuse me. You can't compare. No. There's no comparison. There's no talk. Mac Jones isn't even near TB12 and what he's done. Now if you want to compare rookie years, yeah, they're okay, they're close. They're very close. Does Mac? I mean, the favorites right now to be in the Super Bowl, amazingly, is New England and Tampa Bay right now. That's the most likely percentage-wise Super Bowl game. It would. I tell you what, I bet you that'll be one of the most viewed Super Bowls in history.
I just want to see Bruce during that game, like, no, make it.
I know. Oh my God, Brady!
Don't make me choose. Yes, no.
Look, I mean, I got my throwback TB12 on right now. I don't care where he's at. He's always gonna be the football god.
He went with the Brady, so I had to go with the Foles just to piss him off.
What's he done lately?
Nothing, and I'm damn proud of him for it. Got the Eagles some draft picks. That's what he got. Just like Carson Wentz. Bye. Thanks for the draft pick.
Speaking of the Eagles, let's hear your spew of the Eagles.
Man, even going into that game with the Jets, when I heard that Jalen Hurts wasn't going to play, I immediately thought, "Oh, holy shit! Like, who's our backup?" Because I remember we had
our backup.
Honestly, I remember we had signed Joe Flacco, and then we had traded Joe Flacco. So I was like, wait, who the fuck's the backup? And then they said Gardner Minshew, and I was like, wait, I know that guy. Isn't that the goofy guy from Jacksonville that used to walk in looking like White Goodman from Dodgeball and shit?
Yes.
And it was. And he pulled in looking like some version of Maverick from Top Gun on Sunday on Sunday afternoon. And absolutely torched the New York Jets. I'm not saying that's hard to do because the Jets are kind of a bad team with a bad defense. But
it's a little
considering that man had no reps, he had no time. They were just like last minute. Oh, Jalen's out. You're going in. Okay.
And Philly kind of needed that win too, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, Eagles needed that win after that ungodly, embarrassing, aggravating loss to the fucking Giants the week before. It was like, what? You've been putting up 30, 40 points every game. You can't put up more than 7 against the goddamn Giants. What is going on today? And they bounced back. Minshew looked beautiful. Definitely hooked up with Goddard a couple of times, which I was happy because that dude's on my fantasy team. So I was like, ching! Playoffs, baby, I'm here. But it was a great win leading into their bye, and then headed down the stretch with some division games. So we shall see there, because the Bills, like I said, they had kind of a grip on their division, and then they started to fall off, and the Patriots jumped them. If you haven't noticed in the NFC East, the Cowboys had a grip on that division 4 or 5 weeks ago too. but they have
Yeah.
lost many a game since, and now all of a sudden things are closing in. Like Dallas is 7-5, then you have Washington at 6-6, then we're 6-7, and the
Yeah.
Giants, well, not so much. But there is still a chance with 4 or 5 games left to end up having a team overtake the Cowboys the way somebody overtook the Bills.
Yeah.
And I have said it on this show many a times. Nobody folds like the Dallas Cowboys. They come out great. They have started out seasons 8-0 and ended up 8-8. So until you can prove to me that you can play now 17 games, because it ain't a 16-game season anymore. Till you can prove to me that you can start strong and finish strong, I don't believe your grip on that division is as tight as you want it to be. And there are some teams behind you that are hot. So I still have faith in the Eagles. I know they come back, they play the football team. They've got them twice. They've got the Giants. They've got the Cowboys at the end of the year. There is a good chance that whoever wins these 2 games between the football team and Philadelphia might end up jumping Dallas by the end of the year. And then Dallas is going to be in that position like the Bills, where all of a sudden they were on top. Now they're looking for a playoff spot, and they're in the hunt with all these teams, and they end up getting kicked out.
So I just pulled this up. So Minshew, the mullet god with the porn stash, went 20 for 25, 242 yards and 2 touchdowns, man.
In his debut, I know Gardner Minshew can struggle, but when he debuts for a team, he is golden. When he debuted for the Jags, he looked amazing. The rest of it, not so much. When he debuted with the Eagles, he looked just as good as when he debuted with the Jags. That dude is good for 1 game.
Well, if that's what it is, that's what it's going to be. But he did his job, and he did it well.
Yeah, at least he did his job, and he kept us in the race. And it's going to be interesting to see, where we go from here. And I don't know if he'll get another start this year unless by some amazing circumstance Jalen Hurts gets hurt again.
Well, if you remember correctly, your last Super Bowl win was with a backup quarterback.
True.
It might be the kick in the ass they need.
It was a much better team back then, but true. These guys, I look at the coach and I'm like, I could be your damn daddy. This is ridiculous. How many people are under the age of 22? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Why do I have a 25-year-old telling a bunch of 21-year-olds what to do?
That's where I'm at right now. Seriously. But, and I'll give Mac Jones all the credit in the world because he has looked better than any rookie quarterback in this league. Now, he probably has a better team than any of them, but he's won more games than all of them combined. He's had a great year. He's one of the reasons the Patriots are where they are. And who knows, maybe they will end up number 1. That's gonna blow my goddamn mind.
Yes. Patriot Nation.
It's gonna get Bruce so happy, but it's gonna blow my fucking mind. I'm just hoping the Eagles make the playoffs this year. At this point, it's like, do I want them to, or do I want that draft pick to be higher? Because we're going to get 3 in the first round at this point. Do I want the pick to be higher, or do I want to get in the playoffs?
Like my biggest thing is Mac Jones. Because I can't predict the future, but if he stays solid and does his job like he's doing now, I see him having a long tenure with the Patriots. My thing is I can't wait to see what happens when Belichick retires and either McDaniels takes over or McDaniels moves on, and that leaves Mac Jones with a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach.
Yeah, it would be weird to see Josh McDaniels move on because he's had some coaching opportunities. I think he even took one with the Colts a few years ago and then decided not to go.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to, stay with the Patriots and Belichick in the offense, but I don't know if he'd ever go. I think he stuck around to be the heir apparent to Belichick,
and that's what I hope. That's what I'm hoping for because it would be perfect. Because he's been in that system. Who knows that system as good as Bill Belichick? Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, pretty much. End of list. And it's not like a lot of Belichick coordinators have had success going other places. You got
The only one that has is Flores in Miami.
Well, yeah, and Mike Vrabel. Well, he
Vrabel,
was.
yeah.
I guess he was a player. I don't know if he was a
Yeah.
coach on the staff, but he was a player,
No.
so kind of, sort of counts.
Well, yeah, okay. You were
even
around.
even
But
looking
he
at
has
the
the philosophy.
even looking at the Thursday game with the Vikings and Steelers, the only thing I took from that is like, this is why neither of these teams belong in the fucking playoffs. Number one, neither one of them could beat the Lions. That's one. Number two, as fast as the Vikings started, they almost gave that game up. As badly as the Steelers started, they almost won it anyway. It's like, these two teams are absolute clusterfucks. You don't know what you're getting out of them. You never do. Like Minnesota looked like they were running away with that game in the first half, and it was 23-0, and I turned the TV off and went to sleep.
Yep.
The next morning, I'm watching the highlights back, and I watched the Steelers damn near make a complete comeback and lose by 8 points, and I'm thinking, how the fuck does that even happen?
They could have won that game. They
could have won that game.
Claypool with the whole first down thing on fourth down, and then to celebrate. Did you see this? His center went over and just ripped the fucking ball out of his hands, and he got all pissed off.
Although I thought it was ironic that Pittsburgh loses to a semi-controversial taunting call after what happened with Chicago, because Chicago should have beat them. Then they had the weird taunting call, and then they lost.
Yeah.
So it was like karmic payback from zebras. I don't know. But either way, it's just, Minnesota has lost so many close games. Pittsburgh has looked so good at times, and then at other times has looked god awful. Like, I don't even think they should have won against the Ravens. I still don't understand going for 2 the week before when you could have tied the game and you probably had the Steelers on the ropes. But that's just me.
Right.
It's hard for me to criticize a coach that I named Coach of the Year the week before. But I just didn't understand. Wow. It was like, okay, kick the extra point, take it into overtime, win the game there. The Ravens have gone to overtime and won a couple of times this season. It's like, nope, we're going for it all. No, do not go for it all.
I don't know, man. Like, Kirk Cousins is actually having a very good fucking year.
Oh, phenomenal.
By far his best year he's ever had. And
what's he got now? 27 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. It's like he has the best touchdown to interception ratio of any quarterback in the league.
And they're 6-7.
And they're 6-7. Yeah. And the guy right behind him, ironically enough, is Carson Wentz. And they're 6-6.
Yeah.
So you go figure on that one. I don't. Kickers. That's all I'm going to say. Kickers. Kickers fucking suck this year. I know every now and then you see a kicker miss an extra point or doink a field goal or something, but this year it has been rampant. It is just every week there are a dozen or so missed field goals, 10 or 12 missed extra points. Kickers just looking stupid as fuck. Even at the beginning of that Thursday game, like nobody could hit anything. You had the Vikings drive down, miss a field goal. You had the Steelers drive down, miss a field goal. Then you had the Vikings get a touchdown, miss the extra point. It took till the second quarter for a kicker to hit anything.
That's fucking I don't know, dude. Kicking is kicking's kicking.
It's just gotten so bad.
I know Pat McAfee could go on about the brand forever, but I can't.
I'm sure he could, and I'd love to have him on to talk about it. I'm just saying, kicking has gotten so piss poor, man. Like, it's gotten so piss poor that every team this year is more aggressive on fourth down because they don't want to settle for the fucking field goal because they're like, fuck, this kicker's going to miss. And I don't blame them, but at the same time, then you're fucking with your kicker's head, and he's already a head case to begin with. Now you're fucking with this dude's head. So when he gets out there and he gets an opportunity, he's gonna fuck up because you fucked with his head. Just everybody take a breath. Everybody just go back to the way it works, where you take the kicker, you give him the confidence, and he hits the fucking field goal. We move on with our lives. Like that's all you need to do. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes.
Oh
Sometimes it's just,
gosh.
it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just get to the kicking point, take your field goal, get your points, move on with your life. Don't let the kicker get in his head, and then you're worried
Yeah.
about it too. So now you're in your head, and they're in their head, and everybody's fucked up, and I'm just sitting here like,
Stop it. Get some help.
Yes. Yes.
that's all.
Please stop.
Please stop.
Help yourself.
Help!
Please.
I'm helping you. I'm helping you here.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out to all the coaches in the NFL right now,
Stop
and
fucking
all
with
the
your
kickers. We all need to come together and realize that we are fucking with each other's heads, and it's not healthy.
Yeah. You know what I've kind of noticed is there really isn't a lot of young kickers.
Not really. No.
There really isn't. Like the last young kicker that like I really remember that stands out when they started kicking young was Gostowski. And that's been
Yeah.
a long fucking time.
Well, I mean, the Bengals got some kid they drafted last year, and he's not half bad. But it's just like every kicker in the league. I don't care if you're young, old, whatever. You're just all fucked up and missing shit. You don't even know. Mason Crosby was one of those guys, like the Packers kicker, where he was just money every season. Yep. He's probably missed more kicks this season than he has his whole fucking career. He's hitting like 60% of his kicks, and he's still on the roster. I'm like, I think you need to do something about that, Packers. I know you're a decent team and all, but if this guy keeps missing kicks like this, especially in the playoffs, now you have a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just it's the only thing I took from the Thursday game is like kickers are shit, and there's a reason these two teams might be in the hunt, but they just don't deserve a playoff spot.
No,
they just don't.
Not at all.
I'm sorry. I love you Steelers fans. I love you Vikings fans, but your teams have underperformed.
6-1. Well, here's the thing. You got to remember.
Your team tied the Lions. Your team lost to the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Well, this is something for later. But how is Ben Roethlisberger still the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like how did Tomlin not say, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna let you go and start over this year"? Instead they went with the
I don't know if it was
man that can't move.
Man, that little helmet on his big ass head, his whole career. He's just got that teeny little hat. And his cheeks are puffed. I can't take it. That little itty bitty helmet on that big fucking head. I'm like, you don't even need that shit with that big fucking head. But that's just, it's. I want to.
Yeah.
I look at it from a standpoint where they went and they talked to Ben in the offseason about what he planned to do. And he kind of was wishy-washy about it. And then they started looking around at what they could get. And they were like, well, not a lot out there. And then they looked at their draft picks and they went, well, we're not going to get one of these guys. So they worked out a deal to get Ben back at a little bit of a lower rate and build the team up. Because around him, they have some young talent. I mean, Claypool is not that old. Deontay Johnson is just coming into his own. They drafted Freiermuth. They drafted Najee Harris. They built a team around Ben Roethlisberger. They might have forgot about the offensive line, but that's neither here nor there. And
True.
Big Ben is not the guy that runs away from traffic or avoids sacks anymore. So that's kind of their biggest problem right now. Is they got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the pocket and he can't move. He's just and teams are teeing off on him left and fucking right. The Vikings sacked him like 5 times in that game.
Dude, I don't know how he even gets out of bed in the morning. I feel like he's like the quarterback. Well, I can't even remember what movie. It was a movie, but the dude was all fucked up and he just kept going out there and playing and shit and getting shots. Like, Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday, yes. Yes, who was it? It was
Cap.
yeah. I'm trying to remember. It was one of the Quaid boys that played him, but I can't remember which one.
Yes.
It's not the one from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'll
No.
tell you that right now.
I just watched that today.
Me
It's
too.
such a great movie. Such a
Tis the
great
season,
movie.
you know. It's a wonderful fucking movie. It's one of the best. It's one of the best Christmas movies of all time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember which one played. I'm pretty sure it was Dennis and not Randy, but I could be wrong.
Yes.
But yeah, he just keeps going out there, and it's like everybody in the draft class with him is gone.
Mhm.
Like Eli Manning, gone.
Retired.
Philip Rivers left last year. Big Ben, he's like, nope, I still got something to prove. What? What? You won 2 Super Bowls. You are a hero to an entire city. You've done all there is to be done. Like just go.
You've done a lot of the illegal things that shouldn't be done, but we won't.
Well,
get
there's
into
that too.
We
Yeah,
won't get
that's
into
all.
that.
That's allegedly. You know, that's old news. That's long before our time.
Oh, not my time.
I meant, you know, the show's time, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, it's time, Ben. Just let it go, man. Let it fucking go. And obviously the Steelers couldn't roll with whoever they had on their bench because Mason Rudolph could not even beat the Lions. There is that.
Yeah.
And I guess they could try to resurrect Dwayne Haskins or whatever, the kid that was starting for the football team before COVID and strip clubs, but I don't know if he's any better. I don't think he is. He certainly didn't make much of an impression in Washington. You know,
Yeah.
they had to end up bringing back Alex Smith with his one rebuilt leg, and
Had to get comeback player of the year
yeah,
and
Jesus,
then
that dude.
retire.
Anybody who thought sidebar. Anybody who thought Alex Smith was kind of a cream puff or a pussy or whatever, go back to that season. It will change your mind.
Oof.
And watch the documentary on what happened to that man leading into that season. It will change your fucking mind. Oh, it's gross. Oh.
Oh.
I remember catching it before the last game he ever played, and I was watching that documentary the whole time like, oh, this is tragic.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh.
Like every time they flashed to what they were doing to his leg or what was going on, I was like, oh.
Nope.
I've seen some injuries. I've never seen that. That's above my pay grade. Can we move on? You know what? Fuck it. We are moving on. We're moving on to picks for the week because we got a ton of games left.
Sounds good.
And a lot of them with playoff implications. The first game being one of them. You got the San Francisco 49ers coming off a weird loss to Seattle. Who saw that coming? Right. Now they got to go on the road to play a Bengals team coming off a horrible loss.
Right.
And I'm going to let High Class go first. Who do you think wins this game?
You know, I actually think San Francisco is going to pull this one out. I think Garoppolo's got something to prove. They've already said they're not going to keep him next year. You know, they're going to go with the rookie they drafted. Well, you know, if that's the case, he's gonna have to drive up his stock elsewhere.
Yeah, it's almost hard to imagine when you see Trey Lance right now, like when he's had his opportunity to play for the 49ers, that they're dead set on putting this kid in, but okay, I guess.
Right? They're dead set on getting rid of him. Okay, well, see you later. Bye. I bet he goes somewhere and he's successful somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it would be.
I hear Houston's looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, among a few other teams these days. But, you know, yeah, it would be heartbreaking to see Jimmy G leave like 2 or 3 years removed from a Super Bowl. And he's actually had a decent season, but it looks like they're headed in that direction. And I had said a few weeks back when we were talking about some of these playoff teams on the bubble, I put a lot behind this Bengals team. I know they're kind of young. I know they're not exactly proven, but I had said if you can get Joe Burrow to cut back on these turnovers, they will win consistently week in and week out. And they were. And then last week, Joe Burrow had like 4 turnovers in a loss to the Chargers.
Mhm.
He had 2 interceptions, a couple of fumbles.
Yeah, he had a bad game.
Yeah, more turnovers that week than the last 3 or 4 put together. And they had gone on a nice little winning streak. So
Mhm.
I think he gets it under control this week. I think they get back to running the football a little bit, which is what they were doing in this win streak. Like Joe Mixon has been phenomenal.
Yeah, all season.
And I'm going to say the Bengals take this one at home in a close game. I think the Niners will give them hell. I love Elijah Mitchell. He was one of those guys I picked up off the waiver wire when I had some backs go down and playoffs. So and they have, the 49ers have a decent team. It's going to be interesting to see if they can make a playoff run, and even if it will matter after the season, because they already seem to be dead set on Jimmy Garoppolo on the way out the door. Like, Garoppolo gots to go. I don't get it, but okay.
I don't either.
All right, so our next game definitely has playoff implications. It's a division rivalry. It's a rematch from a few weeks ago. And now you have the Baltimore Ravens going back to Cleveland, where they moved.
Right, where they moved from.
To take on the Cleveland Browns in the dog pound after beating them in an ugly game 16-13 a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know. I don't know about Cleveland. Like, I like them. They got a great run game. Their quarterback is oh, sorry, I'm allergic to puss. No, their quarterback is a little beat up and a lot overrated. And I know Baltimore struggled. They're now putting their Marlon Humphrey on injured reserve, which would be like the 22nd guy to hit the injured reserve for Baltimore this year. I still think the Ravens are going to win it. It's going to be another ugly game, and I'm going to take Baltimore to pull this one out. What do you got, Brucey?
I low key hate Baltimore with a fucking passion. I fucking hate them. I hate them.
What did they do to Belichick? No,
I'm going with Baker Mayfield and the Browns. I'm a low key Browns fan.
Wow.
I think Baker's gonna come out and have. He's not gonna blow the doors off or blow the roof off because Baltimore's too good for that. No. I think it's gonna be like a 10-7 or a 13-10 game. It's gonna be a low scoring game.
These two teams have had some entertaining games over the last couple of seasons. They even had the one last year on Monday night where it looked like Lamar Jackson went out with an injury and the Ravens were down and he came hobbling back on the field and led the game-winning touchdown drive and all that. They've had some entertaining games. This should be one of them, and it probably could go either way. The next game, I don't know if it could go either way. This one's bad. This one's kind of a stinker, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars heading into Tennessee to take on the Titans coming off a bye. And according to reports, Julio Jones will be activated and playing off the injured reserve.
Listen, Tony, you're a great businessman.
We love you, Tony Khan.
When it comes to AEW, I wish you would listen to your fans in football like you do in wrestling. I'm dead ass. Like, come on, Tony. Come on, man.
He's trying.
They could be so much better than what they are. They've had the right quarterback like 2 or 3 times, but they never stuck with them. You know, they never built around them.
If you think about it, it really wasn't that long ago that the Jags were in the playoffs and damn near beating the Patriots and all that. But it feels so long. It's so long ago since like the days of Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette, Allen Robinson, like all these guys they put together. And I'm sure they could do it again, but it just hasn't seemed to really come together. They've tried. Lord knows they've tried.
Well, I hope they put the right pieces around Trevor Lawrence so they don't, damper his career. Because listen, That kid, he's still something special, and he could still do something special
Oh
in
yeah.
the
Oh
NFL.
yeah. No, Sunshine is very talented. For anyone who's seen remember the Titans,
Yes.
Sunshine is quite talented.
He just needs the right pieces around him, and maybe a different offensive coordinator or what. I'm not sure in that department, but they've got some key pieces there. They just need to build off them.
Yeah.
And stop hitting the panic button and the dump button so much. This isn't
Yeah.
soccer.
True. I mean, they found James Robinson in the late rounds, and he's been a great back for them. Trevor Lawrence does look like he's equipped to be, a good, if not great, quarterback in the NFL. Yep. I think they expected a little bit more out of Marvin Jones, bringing him in from Detroit, and they just didn't get it. And that's one of the big spots where it's like, oh, this was your guy in the free agent market. This was going to be your number one guy, and he's not giving you number one production. He's just not, and that's one of the problems. So I think they'll continue to build and grow. They've got some pieces on offense. They've got Josh Allen and a couple of guys on defense who are quite good, but they still got a long way to go, man.
Yeah,
it's terrible. It's like, Tony, I will give you credit. You are doing what you can, but it's not good. And I don't think you stand any sort of chance against the Titans.
So I'm just gonna say Tannehill is gonna have 300 plus yards, and Julio Jones is gonna have a touchdown with over 100 yards receiving.
Oh, you're getting specific. Wow.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, Derrick Henry's still out. So
he is. They're actually optimistic that he'll return from this foot surgery earlier than expected, but it's not going to be this week.
Yeah.
But the kid they found, I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Hilliard. He's actually been pretty damn good for them. Good enough. Yeah, good enough that they cut Adrian Peterson. Like, we don't need you. We got this kid that nobody's ever heard of. He put up 120 yards against the Patriots. Who knew?
Yeah, they actually had 200-yard rushers that game, and the Patriots still won.
Well, that was mostly because of Tannehill and the interceptions, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't see there is little to no chance the Jags win this game. I got the Titans the entire way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we go from that kind of stinker to a game that should be a little bit more interesting. Another division rivalry with playoff implications. This is the Las Vegas Raiders come into Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs after basically getting blown out in their own building a few weeks ago. Would Patrick Mahomes look like himself for once with like 400 yards and 5 touchdown passes?
Patrick Mahomes is overrated, and so is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
I'm not saying that they're going to lose to...
Oh, I thought you were going there.
No, I'm just giving my opinion on Kansas City. And as far as Las Vegas beating them, it could happen. You don't know what Las Vegas team's going to show up. They're just like some of these other teams in the league, They started off hot. Hot.
Oh yeah.
Like blowing people out.
Now the difference between most teams and the Raiders is the Raiders have just been on this crazy fucking roller coaster of drama and distractions all year long. It started with Gruden, it moved into Henry Ruggs, and then the other kid, Arnett, with his YouTube video with his guns and shit. It's like they have had one thing after another, and they're just too busy looking this way during practice. Like, who's gonna ask me about who's fucking up next?
Yeah. All right. Who's gonna go see HR?
Who got cut? Who got arrested? Who's fired? Like, I was gone for one day, so I know it happened again.
They're the only team in the NFL on their board that says injured, practice squad, arrest squad, and jail squad. Like, just so they know.
It has been a rough year for the Raiders. It really and most of it is off field, which is sad enough. But I look at the Chiefs a little bit differently than you do. We've talked about some of these teams like the Bills started off hot, fell off. Cowboys started off hot, fell off. Chiefs struggled out the gate. Last 3 or 4 weeks, they've gotten hot. And they might be actually. I mean, they played the Raiders. They played, whoever the fuck was on their schedule. But
whoever the fuck was on their schedule, no shit.
I don't have the schedule in front of me. I'm just saying. In the last few weeks, yeah, they played the Broncos. They played the Raiders. They. I mean, one of the games was the Giants. Okay, yeah, okay, granted. One of the games was the Packers. They didn't have Aaron Rodgers, granted, but they kind of went from struggling and floundering and caught a groove. And all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes looks better. The defense is playing better. They got Edwards-Helaire back. They're running the ball more. They might actually be one of these teams that's headed in the right direction going into the playoffs, as opposed to some of these other teams that we were talking about that are falling the fuck off.
Yeah. They're starting to hit the rise at the right time. I see what you're saying. I still fucking hate them.
I don't like them very much. I mean, my love for Andy Reid has dissipated over the years since he left, especially after winning the Super Bowl without him. It's like, fuck that fat guy.
Wow. Go eat a stick of pepperoni, you fat bastard.
Yeah. No more cheesesteaks for you. Get the fuck out.
You're not welcome in my house no more.
Nope. You better not come to Gino's. That's all. But I think Kansas City is headed in the right direction. I think they have more than enough to take out the Raiders at home. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I feel for Derek Carr. He's another one of these guys having a tremendous season. Mm-hmm. And every time he turns around, he's losing a receiver. His coach is walking out the door. There's some other shit popping off. And it's just, you got opposing teams talking about how you can fluster him and make him angry, all this other shit. He's like, why me?
Yeah. He just wanted to retire from Toy Story peacefully. And play football. That's all he wanted to do.
That's all he wanted to do. But no. You got to pick on the angry kid from Toy Story all the time. You got to pick on poor Sid.
Yeah, right? Poor Sid.
Oh, man. Yeah, this next game might make you as angry as Sid because it is not a great one. It's the so we have the Saint. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you taking the Chiefs in this one too?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, my bad. We're moving on. Sorry, Raiders, no love here. The next game, the New Orleans Saints and I think Taysom Hill, because they said his finger is fine. They're also getting Alvin Kamara back. They go into New York to take on the Jets this week after losing what is now 4 or 5 in a row.
I honestly could give two flying fucks who wins this game.
You and me both.
I didn't even realize New York still had a team.
They have two.
Actually, let's be corrected. New Jersey has two teams.
New Jersey has
that's
two.
Where their stadium is. They're not New York. They're New Jersey. Don't let them fuckers fool you.
I feel like that should be the punishment this year. Like New York team with the worst record becomes the New Jersey Blanks. Yeah. And I can only say that because Nick's not here and he's from Jersey, so I can say that now.
He's a Philly fan, right?
He is. He's an Eagles fan. He's from Jersey, but he's an Eagles fan. It's a quick trip,
Fuck Philly and fuck Jersey.
No. Fuck you.
No, I'm gonna say, the Saints are gonna win.
Yeah, Saints have got to win this game. I mean, they keep giving Taysom Hill contract extensions. I'm not exactly sure what the fuck for, but you got to think if Gardner Minshew lit him up, then Taysom Hill has got to do better. Let's just put it that way.
Why don't they bring in Gardner Minshew?
Oh, I guess that's not a bad idea. I mean, they weren't doing half bad with Jameis Winston, for God's sake. And then he got hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah, they were 5-3 with him, or 5-2, and now they're fucking 5-7. They ain't won a game since he left.
That shows that one player does make a difference in the NFL.
It really does. It really does. But this next one is going to be interesting, at least for me. because you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are struggling a little bit lately, going into Washington to take on the football team, and they've won like 4 straight. So this one's tough.
It is tough. I was always told never trust something that doesn't have a name.
It's a name. It's not a good one, but it's better than the last one.
Okay. I'm actually gonna go with the Washington football team on this one because I think the Dallas Cowboys are gonna complete the implode this season, so they can be laughed at again and then just talk about how our quarterback's so amazing and great, but you can't win your fucking division.
There is that. I mean, you look at this Cowboys team and like, yeah, Dak Prescott puts up all these numbers. Micah Parsons has been an amazing rookie. Trayvon Diggs leads the league in interceptions. He's on his way to break NFL records, and you're still falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you need to win? You have an all-world quarterback. You have a great receiving core. You have guys on your
great
defense.
running backs.
2 great running backs. You have guys on. You have a defense that's very good. You have guys on that defense who are next level, and you're still falling off.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I don't like either one of these teams, I gotta root for Washington to win. Because if Washington wins, then
root for Washington.
Then Jerry's kids are 7-6. Washington is 7-6. We are right behind them at 6-7, and we got to play this Washington team twice in the next 3 weeks.
No, if Dallas loses, they'll be 8-5.
Oh, will they?
They're 8-4 right now.
Oh, I thought they were 7-5. My bad. Okay, well they'll be 8-5. Either way, I gotta still pull for this Washington football team in the hopes
absolutely
that they continue this implosion with the Cowboys and then somehow manage to stumble up against us and maybe, just maybe, leave that division up for grabs in the last week of the year.
That would be awesome.
It's the best I can hope for at this point because we got to play the Washington football team off our bye, and if we lose that game, season's pretty much over. But if we win,
yeah.
I'm hoping I can be in that same spot where Patriots fans were. Where like at the beginning of the year, they were just like,
"Oh no, we suck again."
And then they just started winning, and then they started winning, and they figured it out, and they started winning. And the next thing you know, they're on top of their division. I hope that's where we end up by week 17. I got my fingers crossed, and I got hope. That's more than I've had all season long. So please go Washington. I do. And by the way, I do love Taylor Heineke. I think that dude is an amazing quarterback. He reminds me of Brett Favre, and I actually watched him play at Old Dominion University in the crowd. So shout out to Taylor Heineke. Please kick the Cowboys' ass on Sunday. Oh, excuse me. All right, so from that, this one was Cowboys and Washington is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be close. I don't know if this next one's going to be interesting or close, but we're gonna go through it anyway. Matty Ice and the Atlanta Falcons going into Carolina to take on Cam Newton and their new offensive coordinator.
I hope Carolina beats them 28-3.
Okay. Is this like a Patriots thing?
No, yeah, it is.
It's like never forget 28-3.
Never. I'll never let that go. 28-3.
It's like I'll never let go 2017.
That's all you have.
It's all I wanted. It's all I wanted. It's all I prayed for.
I don't know about this game.
I know. And not everybody gets a dynasty. It's all I wanted.
Exactly. Not everyone gets a dynasty for 20 plus years.
Right.
With this game, oh man, it's so hard because they're both so horrible.
Yeah.
I actually, this is going to sound horrible. I want to see Atlanta make Cam Newton look stupid.
It sounds funny. I don't know if it sounds horrible. I mean, it's a take. I don't know if it's horrible, but it's funny as hell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I'm gonna pick Atlanta on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, these teams are so bad. I'm just gonna say it right now. These teams are so bad. And that being said, at least one of them still has playoff hopes. That's I don't know what's sadder. It's the Washington. Oh, Grandma! Wow!
What up, lady?
It's the Washington football team. You know you're winning. Hi, Grandma. Sorry, I didn't get that in. But yeah, the Carolina, Atlanta, like they are bad
Horrid.
teams. Yeah, horrid. Like I said, Carolina fired Joe Brady, who was like in the running for a coaching position last year when they weren't that good, and you were wondering why. And now he's gone, and maybe that's because of the way 3 separate quarterbacks have struggled, but those 3 quarterbacks are Sam Darnold and PJ Walker and now Cam Newton. Maybe they should have just kept Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. He looked all right in that offense. I'm just saying. He don't look so bad with the Broncos. I'm just saying.
Teddy's killing it right now.
Right? Like, Teddy is having an amazing season, and nobody in Carolina is, and your coordinator just got fired. Maybe you should just held on to him. I mean, who walks into an offseason going, oh, Sam Darnold's available? Yeah, we'll trade for that guy. He's great.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Okay, what?
Great move.
That's like that.
Hi, Brian.
Fuck the Packers.
Tear down, my brothers. Fuck the Packers.
I will agree with you on that one, Brian. Fuck the Packers.
I don't know. According to Aaron Rodgers, he owns you. I'm just saying. But as far as this game, I'm leaning towards Carolina just for the defense. Carolina's defense has been good all year long. Their offense has struggled. Their defense is damn talented, and I think that's enough. Maybe they get enough out of Cam Newton this week. Atlanta's defense is shoddy at best.
Mid.
Yes. Atlanta's whole team seems to be mid. Outside of like Cordero Patterson, who is another guy who saved my fantasy season. Thank God you can put him in at 2 positions. It's like, oh shit, I got a running back down. Cordero Patterson. Oh shit, they need a wide receiver. Cordero Patterson.
Right.
I do love that dude, but the rest of the team, like Matty Ice might be in that Ben Roethlisberger category. Like maybe you stuck around too long, bruh. Maybe it's time to give it up. Like we talked about like Big Ben and how Eli's gone and Phillip Rivers is gone. Like in his draft class, Joe Flacco was the big quarterback drafted next to him, and he's a backup for the Jets. He's been a backup for like 3 years now. You're still starting. Maybe it's about time you head out the door yourself. You and Big Ben, just pack your shit. You're done.
Yeah, go home.
Go home.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let them rebuild.
I guess we shall. Seriously, let them rebuild. I thought that was coming when they got rid of Julio Jones. It was like, okay, so Matt Ryan's next, right? Nope, we're just gonna keep going. Oh,
it's all Julio Jones' fault.
Yeah, sure. Blame Julio. Damn you for having damn near 10,000 yards receiving in our jersey. What's wrong with you?
Right? How dare you be one of the top receivers in the NFL? How dare you? We don't want you no more.
It's like the last time we struggled, we got rid of Deion Sanders, and look what happened. Oh wait, that's a bad reference point. Right. Never mind.
Deion never played here.
We don't know him.
Dallas. He only played in Dallas and San
Francisco. Primetime who? Yes, he played there, and he was too legit to quit. Anyway, the next game is 2 teams who maybe aren't too legit to quit, and it's
they're below mid.
The Seattle Seahawks, who again miraculous win last week. They go into Houston to play the Texans, who've decided that rookie quarterback Davis Mills is going to start for the rest of the year. I'm taking the Seahawks. Let's just put it at that.
Yes. Yes. You want to know what's really funny? Is the Houston Texans are the only team to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. You know what that means? That means the Detroit Lions still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I was reading something about that the other day. Like the crazy scenario that would allow the Lions into the playoffs, but somehow the Texans can't with an extra win.
Yep.
Like, do
It's
ties
the
make that much
tie.
of a difference? Like,
Yes.
a tie is better than a win? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, it's better than a loss.
Well, yeah, but in this case, it's better than a win because the Texans are sitting at I think it's 2-10, while the Lions are 1-10-1.
Yeah, they're at 2-10. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Lions are 1-10-1. So basically, the Lions have a playoff opportunity with one less win. That doesn't make any sense.
What's their division look like?
Well, you got the Packers at the top, and then the Vikings, who are still in the hunt. The Bears, who are, well, unfortunately, they're the Bears.
Yes.
Like I know, Brian, Deb, and I want them to bear down. They haven't as of yet. And then when you look at maybe I don't know. It's just a weird scenario. We've talked about it a lot, and it's just like, ugh, what is going on there?
Yeah.
Like Matt Nagy, just go home. Like Matt Nagy, whoever the general manager is, you don't have a job here anymore. Yeah. Goodbye.
See you later. Bye.
You've had your chances. You've gone through quarterbacks and draft picks and all this shit, and we still can't win. Go away. But yeah, this game, I don't think Houston stands a chance. I don't. I mean, they're going with Davis Mills over Tyrod Taylor, who had accounted for both their wins. They just cut their Pro Bowl linebacker who led the league in tackles in 2020 during the week because he was late for a meeting. I mean, it's bad in Houston. Even now with Deshaun Watson being old news, he's like the fourth worst problem they got. He really is. Yeah. It's like they've got no chance even against Seattle. Like I don't know. I'm just even if Seattle wins, I'm just hoping they don't end up with a winning record and Russell Wilson decides to work it out with them because I kind of want him to come to Philadelphia. I kind of do. Russ.
Yeah, is that where you want him?
We got 3 picks. Seattle.
I think Russell Wilson would make a great backup for Mac Jones. Just so no one else can have him.
No, I would rather have, people were talking about that going into the year, like, oh, the Eagles are talking about trading for Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. I was like, I want Russell Wilson.
Absolutely, all day long.
That man is great. He's a leader. He's a happily married man. He doesn't get into anything off field. He's a good dude. I want him on that team.
Yeah. Why? So they can corrupt him?
Act like Philly corrupts people.
I mean, you had a fan eat horse shit after you won the Super Bowl.
Hey, Philly has done well for Bryce Harper. That man went from a pariah to a god. That's all I'm saying. People used to down Joel Embiid. They ain't doing it no more. Love that motherfucker now. Maybe not at first. But now, man can write his own ticket in Philly.
Yeah.
Maybe not Ben Simmons, but Joe.
Don't get me started on Ben Simmons.
We're going to have to save that. That's going to be the end of the show. Because I want to hear your take on this, but we got to get through the rest of this week. And another game, which is meh. I don't want to say mid, but you have the Lions, who apparently still have a playoff chance, if you haven't heard, going into Denver to play the Broncos. And I immediately want to stop and just say rest in peace to Demaryius Thomas. That whole situation, oh my God. Like 33 years old. Gone too soon is an understatement. That I don't know him personally. I don't know him personally, but the guy just retired. He was happy, and has a seizure one day and he's gone the next. It's a sad situation, and I mean he was a great player. He, from all accounts, he was a great person, and you will be missed. And they'll even be doing a tribute to him in I don't know what they call it now, but I call it Mile High. You can call it whatever you will, but they're gonna be doing a tribute to Demaryius Thomas prior to the game, and then they will be taking on the Lions. And all that being what it is, I think that's more than enough for the Broncos to absolutely blow the fucking doors off the Lions in Denver.
I want Detroit to make the playoffs. I'm going to say that here. I want Detroit to make, just because it'd be an amazing. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl and nothing like that. I want them to make the playoffs because here's the thing. Their head coach is actually pretty freaking good, and this dude actually really fucking cares about this team.
I love Dan Campbell. Campbell
is amazing. Like, they deserve it. As far as Goff, I'd get his ass out of there next year, but I still want to see Detroit make the playoffs. So I'm going to say Detroit, even though it's probably not going to happen.
Goddamn, high class. If Detroit makes the playoffs, the NFL will have to like revamp their entire situation on divisions and playoffs and ties and all that.
Yeah.
Because at best, this point, they could end up, what, 6-10-1?
Mm-hmm.
Mathematically, and make the playoffs is like, oh no, we got to do something about this shit.
But I mean, there's other things.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I love Dan Campbell, and I think he's a great guy, great coach. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year. And yeah, Jared Goff has been kind of shitty, but at the same time, I find it hard to name one receiver he's throwing to.
No, that's okay. Point taken.
You know, like they got Hawkinson at tight end, and he's good in spaces, but like their receiving core, like when they beat the Vikings, some rookie named St. Brown caught like 12 passes and 2 touchdowns, and I had no idea who he was. I really didn't. We were deep into the season at that point. And I'm like, I don't even know who the hell you are. You just caught the game-winning touchdown pass. Holy shit. If anything, it proves that Dan Campbell is the right guy and they're moving in the right direction, and maybe with a little talent and a little bit of work with his coaching staff, they will turn a corner. I just don't know if I want to see him make the playoffs this year. I'm going to say the Broncos beat them and just end that whole thing.
Yeah.
They're still, it's nothing against them. I love you Lions fans. Like, I love Dan Campbell. I really do.
Dan Campbell's great,
and he will bite my knees if I say anything different. So I am not. Any coach that's willing to tell you his players will bite your knees on the way down. That's the kind of guy I root for. A team I don't root for is up next as the New York Giants. Apparently, without Daniel Jones again.
Thank God, they're better off.
Are going into Los Angeles to take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers, who obviously bounced back with a nice win against the Bengals the week before. Oh, excuse me. So I'm going to leave this one to high class first. Who do you see winning this game between two teams? The
Chargers could still make the playoffs. Like,
oh yeah, they're right in the middle of it.
I'm going to go with the Chargers. The Giants, they're they don't even use Barkley like they did before. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they don't trust him anymore or something happened there with the dynamic, because they were winning with him.
It feels like a situation where he's gotten so banged up since his rookie year that now that he's back, they're trying to like slowly coddle him to get him back to where he was. And I get it, but at the same time, like, you could turn him loose next year and he could be having a great season and blow an ACL. Like, it's going to happen. One way or the other, it's going to happen. He's just going to be a year older, or you're going to be in a better place as far as record-wise or the division or whatever. So coddling him at this point doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're doing it anyway. And they fired an offensive coordinator doing it, and they're still doing it.
Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like Bill Belichick and it like drove the Giants to take Daniel Jones because that draft year, the Patriots worked out Daniel Jones like 8 or 9 times
Yeah.
before the draft. Like it was almost like Belichick was driving his stock ups because they wanted someone to take him so
Could you
they could get
imagine?
who they wanted.
Could you imagine the draft room, like the war room at the draft, where GM's looking at the Giants staff, like how many times did the Patriots work him out? 9 times.
Like that's who they want. That's their guy.
Okay,
We're
fuck
gonna
it, we're
take
taking him.
if he goes there that many times, he's gonna be good. That's who we're taking, and that is exactly how their war room went.
It probably was. Like I don't have any like inside information, but I can feel it going that way. And when it comes to this game, I'm going with the Chargers too. They're another one of these teams that we talked about where week to week they're just a different team. Like 1 week they look great, next week they look shitty. 1 week their defense is great, next week they're getting blown out. Like you just don't know. But I think this is more of a game where we're at home. Somebody's coming in from the West Coast. They're not very good. Let's just blow the doors off of them and get to next week.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Now, next game, I mean, there are some good ones this week, but this might be the game of the week. One of the most pivotal games of week 14, and that's as I had brought up before, the Buffalo Bills coming off that loss to the Patriots, going into Tampa to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I mean, Jesus Christ. I have to let the man in the Brady jersey go first because I'm pretty sure I know what he's going to say, but say it anyway.
Listen, touchdown Tommy's going to do his thing and dismantle them. Brady watched that game Monday night, and he analyzed that defense all night. I don't think Buffalo stands a chance, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think they're going to implode, and they're already started.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to think that, again, when you look back to Monday night and you see what the Patriots did, and then you go back to what, say, the Buccaneers did against the Colts, where they just ran the hell out of Leonard Fournette, and he had like 4 touchdowns in that game. They could do the same damn thing the Patriots did. Easily. And I don't know if their defense is as good, but they could easily do the same thing, have the same game plan that the Patriots did and come away with a win.
And Tampa's got the 3 running back system as well. They've got 2 to 3 good, solid running backs, so they could do that to them. Now it's New England basically exposed Buffalo's run defense. Exposed it, and New England's not known for that.
Yeah.
They're known for throwing short passes and screens and stuff like that.
Yeah. And not only that, if you've played, if you've coached, if you've done whatever, when you come out and you run the ball, you shorten the game. You keep the opposing team's quarterback off the field, which is what the Patriots did with Josh Allen. So why wouldn't the Buccaneers do it with the same damn guy?
Yeah.
He can't beat us if he's not on the fucking field.
Absolutely.
Like this could be. I'm not saying that every team that plays Buffalo is going to throw the ball 3 times. I'm not saying that.
Tampa Bay is not going to throw the ball either. They'll throw it way more than 3 times. This
could be that ongoing formula to beat the Buffalo Bills, because like a team that we just talked about, the Chargers, they gave up a shit ton of rushing yards in every game. So all of a sudden, every team that played them came out and just ran the damn ball. I mean, the Eagles almost beat them by running the damn ball, and they had no business being in that game. They lost by 3, but they ran for over 250 yards in that game. And it was like, as good as Josh Herbert is, he's young, and he can't beat you if he's not on the field.
Yep.
As good as Josh Allen may be, he's young, and he can't beat you if you don't let him on the field.
Yeah. Exactly.
So as much as this game might change or rules or whatever, sometimes shit remains the same. If the guy doesn't get on the field, he can't beat us.
Right?
So I'm leaning towards the Bucks in this one just for that premise. I'm looking at the Bills and I'm saying, find a way to show me you're a playoff team at this point.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because I wasn't really sold on them at the beginning of the year. I thought they had a good team, and they basically let the Steelers take a game away from them at the very beginning of the season, and you thought, oh boy, this is going to be bad. They started to pick up a little momentum. They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and you thought, all right, maybe they figured it out, and then things went wrong again.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, you're going to have to prove to me in this stretch that you're a playoff team, that you deserve to be there, that you deserve to be in the final week of the season in Foxborough with a chance to win the division. Until you prove that, I can't pick you, especially against the Bucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
And of course, Brian's favorite team on Sunday Night Football, the Chicago Bears, are going into Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers.
I'm sorry. The Bears have no fucking chance in hell going into Lambeau in December and beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I am sorry.
Again, I don't care if it's Brian or especially Devin. I think he would agree that when it comes to the Bears, most fans are just sitting around yelling,
Oh no! We suck again!
flat out.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, I do feel for them. They've had such an odyssey at quarterback the last few years. I mean, they must have started.
It wasn't that bad.
But I mean, from Trubisky, you went to Nick Foles, then you went to Justin Fields, then back to Andy Dalton, then Justin Fields, then back to Andy Dalton, and now Fields might start again. And
they have no idea what they want to do and who they want to do what.
And all the while, like, Matt Nagy's still looking for a quarterback to fit his system. It's like, you've had 6 quarterbacks. How many do you need before they fit a system? Maybe your system sucks. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You got guys. I'm not saying they're as good as they once were, but you got guys on your roster who have been on playoff teams. Andy Dalton's one of them. Mm-hmm. You got guys who have won a freaking Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Nick Foles. You had a kid like Trubisky who did show some promise, and I don't know where that went. Apparently to Buffalo to back up Josh Allen.
Right.
And now you got Fields, and who knows what will happen with this kid, but it's just you scratch your head. And when they reported that after Thanksgiving they were going to fire Matt Nagy, I was like, good. It's about fucking time.
And then he won.
And what difference does that make?
That was what saved his job. They won on Thanksgiving.
They ain't since. Couldn't they just said, all right, well, if you don't win next week, we're firing you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a dick move to fire somebody on Thanksgiving anyway, but couldn't you just keep that going? Like, all right, Thanksgiving's over, motherfucker. You lose, you're done.
They don't want to fire him before Christmas. That's even worse.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But they'll fire him on Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah, that's better. But either way, he has a job, and he has no chance of winning in Lambeau. So give me the Packers all day, every day. Yeah. I don't, and stop talking about Aaron Rodgers' toe, for Christ's sake. You know how many weeks I've had to hear about Aaron Rodgers and his fucking toe? I don't give a shit. He's playing, he's winning, he looks good. Why should I give a shit about his fucking toe? You want to show me anything from Aaron Rodgers? Show me his vaccination card, okay?
He had COVID toe.
COVID toe, yeah, that's a new thing. The CDC needs to look into it after the season.
Aaron Rodgers, patient 0.
Jesus Christ. Next thing you know, a bat bit his toe. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Now, would he become Man-Bat or would he be Batman?
He'd be like Bat Hobo with that look, the weird beard and the mullet and all that. I am Bat Hobo. See him popping out of a garbage can and getting in the bat cart.
It'd be Batman.
Be Bat Bro. Joker's
Oh,
flipping out. Bat Bro just looks at him and goes, "Relax."
the Bears have no chance in this freaking game.
None.
I'm sorry, guys. but-
None. None whatsoever. And Monday night's game is actually decent too. You got two of the better teams in the AFC division rivalry. You got the LA Rams going into Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Now, if there's any place amazingly that you can beat the Cardinals, it's at home. I don't get that. They are 7-0 on the road. They are 3-2 at home. I can't explain that to you. One of those wins came with Colt McCoy, by the way. So I cannot figure out that your number one got home field throughout the playoffs, and you can't win at home. But
Yeah.
But either way, it's going to be an interesting game. The Rams I know they've kind of slid off a little bit, and they bounced back nicely in their last game. OBJ definitely looks like he's getting comfortable in that offense. He had a big week. I don't know. I know they have trouble winning at home, but I gotta lean towards Arizona with this one. They already beat them once.
Yeah. I
mean, that was when the Rams were hot. They were undefeated. They were number one. And Arizona knocked them off at home.
Yeah. Man, this is one of those games because, like you said, OBJ is starting to fit in the offense.
Yeah, I mean the Rams will have to be.
Stafford had a good game,
the Rams apparently will have to be short one running back because Darrell Henderson got put on the COVID list, so it'll be Sony Michel taking the load.
Okay, and that's a bad thing. Sony Michel's a very good running back.
Really?
Trust me, I know.
I figured you'd know.
I know a little bit about the guy. I've watched him play for a while.
You got a little experience in Sony Michel.
Yeah, but dude, no, he's actually he's a very good running back. I was actually upset when the Pats let him go.
Yeah, that's true.
It hurt my feelings, Bill. But we're doing good. Thank you.
You hurt high class feelings, Bill.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it's so hard because I don't know.
I know it's a tough game to pick. Even me with Arizona, I'm like, I don't know. You can literally flip a coin and just be like, yeah, that could happen.
Exactly. You know what? I'm gonna say the Rams are gonna win.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Rams.
I mean, we had Matthew Stafford get through a game without throwing a pick six, so that was progress.
Yeah, progress, not perfection.
Every game they lost on that streak, he threw a pick six in each one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, really, Matt? Even if you get picked off, you don't have to throw up like a gimme for a pick six. You could do it someplace else on the field and like
make them work for it. Make them work.
Yeah, don't just give them the six. That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna throw a pick, at least heave it downfield and somebody catches it. It's like a fucking punt. But no, you gotta throw it right. You gotta lead the guy right into it so it can go in stride for 50 yards and a touchdown. What the fuck is wrong with you? But he fixed that last week. Hopefully that continues. We shall see.
Yes.
But it's gonna be an interesting game either way. It's definitely one of those that could go either way. And something that I hope doesn't go either way is Ben Simmons getting traded. And since Brucey brought it up, and I've touched on it so much, I'd like to hear somebody else's opinion on this situation.
Listen, I talk basketball a lot with my oldest son. So he tells me a lot more about what's going on in the NBA and who's who's playing good and who's not. And then I started hearing this stuff about Ben Simmons before the season, so I asked him about it, and he goes, "Yeah, this guy's a joke." And then he showed me the videos and stuff, and the stuff like. My thing is you have the entire world in the palm of your hand. In the palm of your hand, you've got everything you ever wanted, but you want to be a douchebag and a dumbass.
Yeah.
Why? Kyrie Irving, why? Why?
Somebody even suggested that, oh, well, why don't they just trade Kyrie Irving for Ben Simmons? It's like, Why would you trade one head case for another? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, he's not playing for his team. He's not playing for his team. What makes you think if we switch these guys, they're going to play?
Yeah. I'm glad Boston got rid of Kyrie when they did.
Yeah, you should be.
So glad.
You should be.
So glad.
I agree with everything you said because Ben Simmons had the entire town in the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because the year that they went into the playoffs and they lost to the Celtics, he was hurt. Team fought hard, but he was hurt. He couldn't play. They ended up losing in 6. And then he came back the following year, and they went off.
Mm-hmm.
They went off. They went into the playoffs. They were one of the favorites to go to the finals.
Yeah.
And then he imploded in a series against the Hawks. In the crucial games. We're talking game 7, and I'm 3 of 15 from the free throw line. Shaq is better. Like
yeah, Shaq is better.
And this is in an this is coming off an off season where everybody said, including Ben Simmons, that he had been working on his game, that he had been working hard, that he'd been doing this and doing that, and none of it showed up on the court. None of it. They were showing Ben Simmons hitting 3-pointers and all this other shit. He barely attempted one. They were showing him shooting free throws. 3 of 15 in a game 7. You lost by 4.
Yeah.
You know, and then he got upset when people like after the game, after you're eliminated, you go to a guy like Doc Rivers, who you probably are familiar with from his time with the Celtics. So you know this guy's a proven coach. He can build teams. He can win championships. He can do all this. And they asked Doc Rivers, "Do you think Ben Simmons can bring a title to Philly at point guard?" And he says, "I don't know." That's what you're mad about. He said, "I don't know." After you had a shit ass game, like the worst game 7 in history of game 7s, and all he said was, "I don't know." Yeah. And you got mad, and you have been sitting at home ever since. And I keep hearing this stuff about trade rumors and trades heating up, and how, in a few days there's going to be all these free agents that were signed that could be available for trades and this and that. And I'm like, can we please just get this guy out of here? I don't even give a shit what it's for anymore. I just want him off my team. If it means we got people that'll come out in a Sixers uniform and help this team, cool. If it means that we have a shit ton of salary cap next year and we go sign somebody that actually does want to come in and play with Joel Embiid and play with some guys that are actually pretty good, cool. Because even without it, when the season started, the first 10 games, they were 8-2. And they looked damn good. They had the 3rd best record in all of the NBA. And then Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris, our top 2 players, got COVID. They went on to go 2-8.
Right.
And all that time, you know what didn't happen? It's not like Ben Simmons walked back in and said, "Okay, I'll play." Because even then, if you would have walked back in and said, "You know what? I'm here. I want to play. I want to help this team," and you went out there and tried to lead them with Embiid and Harris being off the court for 10 or so games due to COVID, people would have probably softened on you, and it would have helped your trade value. But you didn't do that. You just sat there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand these players when they do stupid shit like this. Like, it baffles me. You guys make millions to play a game you grew up loving to play and having fun playing. And now you get paid millions of dollars and you want to act like this? Like,
it makes no sense whatsoever, man. It's like I'm literally scratching my head now because it doesn't make any sense. It's like
I wouldn't even take him. I'd just let the Sixers fucking release him and no one pick him up.
I swear, I wish the NBA still had that amnesty clause where you could just void somebody's contract and put them on the market. He'd be the first one. It's like, really, $200 million and you're sitting at home? Bye.
Yep.
Especially because they actually are a decent team without him.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
They don't need him.
They really have. When they started out 8-2, it certainly didn't look like they needed him. Now you got guys like Joel Embiid coming back from COVID, and that's going to take a minute, but they're still winning. They're still back to winning some games and crawling their way back up the conference. And if we had anything for Ben Simmons to go along with what we got now, who knows? But who knows when the fuck that's going to happen? It could be anywhere between now and February, and who knows by February if they're even in it. So,
Holy shit! Okay.
hmm.
Oh, Boston's in third in the Atlantic. Philly's in second, and Brooklyn's in first.
Yeah. And when you look at those rosters between the Celtics and the Nets and us, you see a huge disparity in talent. Like Brooklyn has put together an all-star team from 2009. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they've got an Olympic team.
Maybe 2015. I mean, they've got KD and James Harden and LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, and the list goes on and on and on. It's like, okay.
Imagine if Kyrie was playing.
That's what I mean. And you're crying because you lost Kyrie Irving. Oh no, you're down to 5 all-stars. You poor things.
Right? you're down to the 2008 All-Star team.
Like, meanwhile, if we're lucky, we had a big 3, and now one of them's gone, and you're bitching because one of your 5 all-stars is off the court.
Right? Don't worry, you only got 7 more on the bench.
You're good, right? Like, you know. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, the Celtics have a pretty deep roster.
Mm-hmm.
The Nets have a pretty deep roster. The Sixers do not, and the reason they don't is sitting at home making $200 million.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking dude. We're wasting our breath on that fucking guy.
It feels like we are. I just had to get somebody else's take on it because he's a
douchebag.
Really, okay. Had to make sure. Just
You're
checking.
Right. No, you're good. He's a douchebag.
Yeah, huge douche. Anyway, so that's about all we had for tonight, and I want to thank everybody that showed up. I definitely want to thank High Class for coming to kick it with me again. I know I had to get through the Brady segment. It just gave me flashbacks to all those wrestling shows where we're picking pay-per-views, and here comes the MJF match, and I'm like, oh, I know what's coming. Go ahead. So many times.
Yes.
But if you have watched this and you've enjoyed it, please leave your picks afterwards in the comments below, or come find me on Twitter and ask a football question or a sports related question, and I'll try to throw it in. We have a couple times already, but just come find and follow me at @S_Philly Psycho on Twitter. And of course, you can catch this show on pretty much every major podcast platform. But if you want to find them all, anchor.fm/FoxDen. We got all of them.
All of them.
And if you do happen to be listening to this after the fact, you can catch our live streams, our wrestling show, and even a few other shows we did that are a little dated at this point at TRWT underscore parentheses a Fox Den John on YouTube. That's our channel. Come subscribe, come ring the bell. There's going to be lots of exclusives there, like, as Brucey just referenced, the brand new Shooting the Shit, where Brucey and I talk about moments where we thought we were cool growing up.
Yes, and
that's a good time.
Other people on as well down the line.
We will have more episodes. We'll have other people. We will continue that as we go. But the YouTube channel definitely has a ton of exclusives and definitely has more content. So definitely come subscribe there. Come ring the bell. So the next time the Sports Syndicate goes live, or Top Rope or anything, you're the first one to know and you can come join in. But until next week, I guess I'm hoping your teams win, fantasy or otherwise. And if you don't, there's
a break.
There's still a few fucking weeks. Mine's taking a break too. So good luck to yours this week.
Mine's on a bye. Good luck to everybody else. Have fun. I'm just going to enjoy some amazing football tomorrow while my boys rest up.
You and me both.
Yes.
Catch you next week, y'all. Not number 1.
First place.
Fly Eagles fly anyway. Fuck it. I don't care.